Alrighty. Okay. Good morning, everyone. For those of you who are here to watch, thank you for being here. Just doing a few little bits of maintenance to make sure that the stream is going to run smoothly. Already, I have a friend in the chat. What is up, Coopers? Long time no see. Just gonna send a heart in the chat real quick because I gotta keep talking and typing distracts me. So, a lot of you who are going to be watching this, maybe you're not watching right now, maybe you're not watching it live, but this video, the point of this video is to explain my week in Los Angeles when I went to audition and perform in front of big company executives. It's the idea that you want to wait to announce something or to tell a story until everyone's in the room so you don't have to repeat it multiple times. I've had several people ask me already since I've been back the last few days what happened, and they want to know all the details. And in order to stop myself from going insane, I told them that I'll give them a summary of a really brief, oh, it was good, and this is what happened. These were the results. But if they want more details, then they can come here to watch this live stream. In addition, the secondary purpose of this live stream is for any of you out there who maybe want to be doing acting as well, or singing, dancing, modeling, things like that. At least to hear a bit of experience from somebody who just entered that industry and like made his first shot. This was my first big experience outside of high school. And so I have a lot that I learned this last week, a lot that I can share, and I'm not a professional by any means. That's the goal eventually, but I do have lots to share. I got funny stories. I got hopefully some instructive, not feedback, but an instructive perspective coming from somebody who just went through a whole week of workshops and auditions and castings and callbacks with about 250 other people doing the same thing, just in the heart of Burbank. So I'm here to answer questions and to talk about my experience. If any of you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat and I will get to them eventually. If I don't answer your question right away, it's because I'm already planning on answering it. I just haven't gotten there yet. So without further ado, I'm going to set up a few more things and then we will get started. If you guys can hear the clickety-clack on my keyboard. I have several screens. It's a very nice setup. All right. Excuse me. I am entering the chat. All right. Okay. All right. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I'm going to start at the beginning of the story. About in July or August, I think it was in July. Or no. I think it was in June. Yeah, that sounds about right. In June, June 2023, I was living at home. I finished for a lot of you know that I finished my mission in December of 2023, my mission for my church. Since then, I moved back home to live with my parents and, get on my feet. So I got a job and I was saving up for a car to eventually move out. And in June, my mom sent me a post that she found on Facebook about some local Tucson auditions for anybody who wanted to act, sing, dance, or model. So I was interested in at least two of those, both singing and acting, and so I decided to give it a shot. And I went through the whole audition process. I prepared. There was a list of TV commercials, like scripts for a TV commercial, and I wouldn't even call them a script because it's just a few lines per commercial. But I decided to choose one that was about. I think it was Danimals or something, and I figured I could do that because I have a very cartoonish voice, and so I prepared this monologue and I was like, Danimals, like the fruity tasting snack, da 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 da. I don't remember much of what it was, but I went to the audition with that and with I think 60 seconds of a song prepared. It might have been 90 seconds. I think it was 90 seconds. Yeah, 90 seconds of a song. I decided to sing "You Raise Me Up" because that has gotten me through auditions before. So I sang my own rendition of the first verse and the chorus. And so I went to this audition, and it was at the Tucson Airport Hotel, I think, because that was the closest one. They had auditions in several cities for this thing. And I say thing because at the time I had no idea what I was auditioning for. But I went, and there was this wonderful, wonderful lady named Brooke there. And she was the talent scout hosting those auditions. And she had a friend there. Oh, no, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. Never mind. So Brooke was there. And she introduced herself as a talent scout for a company called Arts International. And so this is a company, this is the way she explained it, this is a company where they put on a showcase. They put on like 2 showcases a year. And at these showcases, they prepare ahead of time by scouting and discovering talent throughout the U.S. and Canada and some other places. And basically, they find talent that they think is really good, and they bring it to this. They bring the talented people to the showcase, and they put them on the stage, and they get to perform and audition for in front of judges and executives and casting directors, people who own their own casting agencies and things like that, music labels, and so I auditioned, I sang my song, I did my quick little Danimals commercial. I don't even remember if it was Danimals. It might have been something else, but it was some kind of like kids snack. It could have been Pop-Tarts for as much as I remember. But I had, sorry, give me just one moment. Okay, perfect. So I did those 2 auditions, and Brooke was encouraging everybody in the room. She was saying that it is good to try all different aspects of the entertainment industry. She gave us some insight on like what it actually looks like and what we can expect, but she was trying to say if you think you can do more, if you're here for just singing but you think you can do some acting or modeling, absolutely. A lot of modeling is really simple things like just your smile for like a dentist commercial, right? Or like on the box for medicines. If you're the person tossing the ball to the dog, right? You get paid to have your picture put on medicine, right? And that's 90% of the modeling industry are things like that. It's not just, high fashion where you walk down the runway. That's about, if I remember correctly, she said that's about 10% of the modeling industry. And the rest of it are the kind of models that you see on billboards and medicine, like boxes of medicine, and in Old Navy, the people wearing the clothes on the walls, things like that. And in, commercials, things like that. Doing commercials is a bit of acting and modeling, but it could also be just modeling. If you're the person throwing the ball to the dog while the medicine is listing all the different ways it can kill you, that's that's a modeling gig. I guess it's kind of acting too, but not really, because you're just getting paid to play with a dog all day while the cameras just watch you, and they get this footage for their medicine commercial, right? So she was encouraging everybody in the room to get more in than just what we came for. So I decided to pose for a few pictures. I was like, yeah, okay, modeling, sure. I guess I'm not. I think I'm a decent looking person. I would hope so. But we snapped a few pictures, and then we went. And then I left. My audition was pretty early because I was one of the younger ones in the room. We had, I think the youngest kid in the room was maybe 10, but then we had like 80-year-olds as well in the room. So it was about 50 people, maybe less, maybe more, that were in the room for the Tucson auditions, okay? And we were told after our auditions that we would get an email letting us know if we got a callback or not. So I did my audition, and then I went home because I didn't want to stay out too late. They went with youngest first, so I was the first one to audition. I met a few people there. There's two people in that room that I saw later. So I went home, and then that same night I got an email that was my official invitation to the callback meeting for like the southern area of Arizona, not just Tucson, but like the southern area, at a big, I think it was the Airport Hotel in Phoenix. So that was pretty big. I was like, wow, oh my gosh, like I've got something that they like. And so I was chosen specifically for my singing and my acting. I never heard if they liked my modeling pictures or not, but that's not what I was there for, so it's whatever. But so I went to the Phoenix callbacks where they were going to give more information and give the whole rundown of the program. So I went to the Phoenix callbacks, and there was one person there. It was a girl and her mother who I had actually been sitting next to in the Tucson auditions, and so I had already met them. And then there was one other woman who she's fantastic. Her name is Sarah, and she was at the Tucson auditions with me. I didn't get to see her audition because I had to leave early, but we were both at the Phoenix auditions, and I believe it was the three of us. There were maybe about 10 people in the room for the Phoenix auditions, so that made me feel really proud of myself. I think they went to Phoenix and Flagstaff and maybe one other place, and all of the people that they gave callbacks to from those areas they brought to the Phoenix callbacks. So there was Sarah, the little girl, and her mom, and then me. So like 3 people that got chosen from the Tucson area, at least that made it to the callbacks, because I don't know, maybe somebody didn't, but that felt really nice. I was like, wow, like I'm one of 3 Tucson representatives, so it was pretty cool. After we got there, they gave us the whole rundown of what the program looks like, and of course we all kind of walked in and were wondering, like, are these people legit, or are they trying to scam us, or what's going on here? One reason, the thing that convinced me that they were legit was that they showed us, like, I like to call it the fruits of their labors. So they've had other people cast in different shows, well-known shows, and they're acquainted with plenty of big, important people in the industry, and just going to throw out some names of people that were discovered through their showcase. One is JoJo Siwa. She was, I don't know much about JoJo Siwa. That's not really something I watched, but she was discovered through this showcase. And so the talent scout that found me, Brooke, she knows JoJo Siwa because they worked together before. Evan Peters was also discovered through this showcase. And so that's pretty cool. If you don't know who Evan Peters is, I know him from Marvel movies as Quicksilver. He was Quicksilver in the X-Men, and then he was Quicksilver again in WandaVision. Apparently, other people know him from other movies. I guess it's just something I haven't seen. But those are just two names to throw out of people that they have cast, or that they have, gotten into the industry through this showcase. So most of what they do, they cast supporting roles or extra roles or things like that, but that's how a lot of people get started. And so they've cast people in Stranger Things, Avatar: Way of Water, Cobra Kai, a lot of Netflix shows, but also things like Grey's Anatomy, and they've cast people in like voiceover roles. Several of their people are dancers or modelers now, and they've done a lot of cool stuff. I'm trying to think of what else they've done. I can't remember right now, but it's really cool. It's really cool to hear. It was really cool to hear about what has come from their showcase. And so because of that, I was able to do my research, and I was able to find out that they are legit and they're not trying to scam me. They've actually helped people get into the industry before. So the difference between this and just going to different cities to audition for Netflix or Disney or whatever is that they bring all the talent, all this new talent that they find, to one location, and all these different companies that are looking for new talent, they come and they get to see all this new talent all at once for a week. And the same vice versa. They bring all of these agents and talent, like people seeking new talent, to one location, and then us, the people wanting to be discovered, go and audition for all of them all in one spot for a week. So it's kind of a win-win. It's very nice, and it was an absolute blast. So of course there's a tuition. These people are giving up an entire week to see you and to see who you are, not just as a performer but also as a person, because you're staying in this hotel with them for a week. So you're eating dinner a few tables away from them, and you're walking through the hallways from the bar to your room or whatever, depends on how old you are. But they told us about the tuition, how much it would cost. We pay our own way via plane or travel, however we're getting there, and then our hotel room. So I just cracked down. A lot of people have been asking me why I wasn't posting on YouTube as much, or my social media presence wasn't as grandiose as it had been before. Well, one thing was that after I got this call back and decided that I wanted to go to LA for this showcase, I bought a car and I moved out. So a lot of money went into that. Whether or not that was the smartest choice, we can, that's up for discussion. But I moved out. I moved up to Utah, and I'm living with my aunt and uncle like I have before. And I moved up here for a couple different reasons, and not all of them worked out. But I'm still happy here, and I'm not nailed down here either. This is just where I'm living right now. But so the cost of the move up here took a giant chunk out of my budget. But I got a new job, and at first the job was going really well, but then I wasn't getting as much money as I needed in order to, one, pay my insurance bills and my car payments, which were new things that I hadn't experienced before. And my other bills, plus the payment plan that I was doing in order to make it to LA. What's really nice is that they do split up the cost of the tuition for monthly payment plans if you need it, and that was actually very, very helpful. So I did manage to pay all the payment plans, and the last few months I just worked so hard since I got the audition. Since I landed the audition in Tucson, I've worked 5 different jobs over the last 6 months in order to make enough money. Not all at the same time. The largest number of jobs that I worked at any one given time was 3. So I worked 3 jobs at one point, and I was just, I was on the hustle. I really wanted this. And I would say I don't necessarily recommend it because you know, this has been a really really difficult point in my life. Not because of the jobs, just because we all face hard things and they can come when you least expect it. So I experienced something that was really really hard recently as I was nearing the end of saving up for the showcase. And so it's been a hard journey, but the final week of getting there to the showcase was absolutely worth it. And so I'll tell you guys more about that after I take a drink because I'm starting to get dry mouth. Hold on, check that. Dry mouth is like an actual condition, isn't it? I don't know. My mouth is dry. That's it. All right, I've been talking for 20 minutes, so we're making good time. That is the introduction of how I got, of how I got this opportunity, how it started, and so now we'll go into what actually happened once I was there. So, I worked several jobs in order to get the money to go. And I even donated plasma, which, for those of you who know me, needles are not my thing. It was maybe my least favorite thing that I've ever forced myself to do. But for those of you who do know me and my fear of needles, I have gotten to the point where I could do it again, for some extra money. And it's nice to be able to donate and help somebody. I don't know who I'm helping, but there's a lot of people who really need that plasma for the medicines that they use, and so it's life-saving, and it's in the moment I don't enjoy having a needle in my arm. A lot of people are super relaxed when it happens, and for me it's just a mental thing, just the knowledge that there's something in my arm. I don't like it, but I did it twice, so I feel really proud. I've grown through this experience. But I noticed that we do have 3 people watching, so I'm just gonna put it out there again. For anybody watching, you are totally welcome to put comments in the chat and ask questions, and I will answer them as we go. Don't be afraid to interact and ask different things because that's what we're here for. I'm not here just to talk about my experience. I'm also here to answer questions that you guys might have. Hello, Layla. Oh my gosh, so good to see you here. Thank you so much for hopping in. Moving on to the next part of the story. Where was I? Oh yeah. So, I was almost not able to make it because of how expensive the hotel was. See, for those of you who have never booked a hotel on your own before, which I had not because I'm a brand new adult, when you look up the price for a room, that's the price for one day. So you have to take into account how many days you're going to be there. Hello, Troy. Nice to see you here. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching. I hope that this is entertaining at the least, if not informative. But yeah, when you book a hotel, it's the price is just for one day. And so if you're staying for a whole week, you need to check how much that will be, because it would be about for this specific hotel, the Burbank Airport Hotel. It was very expensive. It was about $1,000 for a room, and oh, wonderful, Troy! Absolutely, yeah. Hey, even if nobody can watch it live, this video is built in a way where you can watch it later and get updates on how everything's going. But thank you for being here right now. I really do appreciate it. So I could not pay $1,000 for the hotel. I mean, if I got a 6th job, then maybe I could have. But I was also running out of time. So there was a forum for finding roommates for the showcase. And I found a roommate, and he is a really awesome guy because I called him and I said, "Hi, my name's James, and I am going to the art showcase in in December in a couple of weeks, and I need a roommate because I can't I can't save up that much money that quick, so I needed to split the cost with somebody. Thankfully, this guy is really chill and really nice, and he was absolutely down. At first, he said, there's only one bed in the room, and I said, I don't even care. I'll bring an air mattress. I did bring an air mattress, but funnily enough, once we got there, we were able to just switch to a 2-bedroom, which was a lot better, and it was a blessing. It was a blessing that came. I was very glad for that. So I only paid about $500 or so, and I paid it directly to him because he had already paid for the room, so I just paid him half the cost. And I was able to do that just before we got there. I think I paid everything except for like $11, and those $11 I paid to him in cash once I met him in person. So I really wanted to go, and it wasn't easy to get up that much money, but if you really want to work for something, you can work for it and you can do it. Absolutely, 1,000%. So it was Monday, December 4th. I got on a plane from the Salt Lake airport to the Burbank airport. I'm going to take another drink. Originally, I was going to take videos of like the whole week, vlog it kind of, and then put it all together in a video to put on YouTube. That was the original plan. Unfortunately, actually no, not unfortunately. Fortunately, I was having so much fun the entire week that I wasn't even worried or thinking about recording anything. I have a few videos and tons of pictures, but no, my mind was not on vlogging it because I was just enjoying myself. Plus, a lot of the big events and performances that happened, we weren't allowed to film anyway. So even if I had filmed everything else, it still would have kind of been a boring YouTube video. So eventually I figured this live stream will be better anyway, because then I can just tell you guys about it. And all the pictures that I took, I'm going to be posting in the near weeks. And so you guys are going to see, all the fancy, amazing, awesome stuff that happened and the people that I was able to meet. So I did not, once I got there, out of the airport, I was like, wow, my gosh, there's palm trees, right? But the Burbank airport was just right across the street from the Burbank Hotel. So I took my luggage and I rolled it down to the hotel. I passed a Panda Express, a Del Taco, a McDonald's, and a Denny's before crossing the street and getting to the hotel. Once I was inside the receiving room of the hotel, I was like, wow, this is really nice. There's a Christmas tree. I had forgotten Christmas was a thing. In fact, for the rest of the week, I forgot that it was Christmas time because we weren't focusing on Christmas. There were Christmas trees in the hotel, but I was just having such a good time. I only realized it was Christmas on the last night, right before I left the next morning. And I was like, oh, hold on. It's Christmas time. When I get back home to Utah, there's probably going to be snow. There's not snow right now, which, a lot of people are saying hallelujah, but we're getting kind of close to Christmas. We got 10 days until Christmas Eve, so I'm kind of waiting for the snow to come. Anyway, so I got to the hotel and I sat down and I called it was either my mom or my aunt or both of them. I was texting, the people that I was texting my family and my closest friends who wanted to know how I was doing on the trip. I let them know when I left the airport, when I landed, when I got to the hotel, all these things. Yo, oh my goodness. Another awesome person in the chat. What's up, newish lad? I don't know if you want me to say your real name or not, but I miss you more than I miss the snow. How many watches do we have? 3? Okay, we still have 3. Has it been you 3 the whole time? We have 4 people who have commented, though, or who have put something in the chat, so that's nice. Sweet. I do miss you. Yes, I miss you too. I miss you so much. Um, all right, so I got to the hotel and I kind of sat down and I was calling my aunt, I think, and I was like, I'm here at the hotel, but I just texted my roommate that I'm supposed to have, and he is from further away than I am, and so he texted me and told me that he was still 5 hours out. I arrived at noon. What he really meant was that he was 9 hours out because he did not arrive until 9 o'clock that evening. Not his fault or anything, but I was like, oh, so I'm just gonna chill here in the hotel lobby for like 9 hours. The thing is, I couldn't go up and find our room because it wasn't under my name; it was under his, and he was the one that booked it. So I didn't have a way to get in our room, and so I was just going to be sitting in the lobby for 9 hours with my luggage. Thankfully, though, that while I was telling my aunt this, there was a wonderful lady who was sitting just, across from me in the lobby, and she was like reading her book or whatever. But after I was done on my phone call, she got my attention. She leaned over and she was like, hey, like if you need somewhere to put your luggage, or like if you need to like freshen up or take a shower or anything, like my room's completely empty. I'm not using it. And I found out that this was another arts contestant. I don't know if I'd say contestant or not, because it wasn't necessarily a competition. There was an aspect of competition, but that wasn't the whole point of what we were there for. We were all supporting each other like a whole lot. But she was also there for the arts. She was doing singing and acting and modeling, so a lot of the same things that I was doing with some extras. But she was from Canada, and I realized I don't know if I've ever met a Canadian before. You couldn't really hear it in her voice until I like was talking with her for a couple of days, and then I started to hear it. But this was my first friend that I made in LA, and her name is Keely. I'm referring to anybody that I met this last week. I'm omitting last names just for courtesy. But we're all trying to get into the industry, so our names being online is kind of the goal. But still, I'm only going to give first names at most. And there's plenty of children that I met as well, minors, both teenagers and younger, who were insanely talented, and I will not disclose their names, even though they already know that I absolutely love them. They're amazing, but I won't be disclosing names of people who I met that are under 18. So, just putting that out there about the names. I would love to give a shout out to every single one of them, but I will refrain from doing so because I don't know. I don't know what their preference is for how I refer to them online with YouTube live stream. Anyway, so the first friend that I met in LA, her name was Keely, and she let me go up. She let me go up and use her room. I put my luggage in her room so I wouldn't have to be carrying it around all day if I decided to do anything. And I was able to take a shower and change while she just like stayed in the lobby and read her book. It was great, and I was super, super grateful because I was tired and sweaty, and I wanted to freshen up, and so it was really nice to be able to do that. I went down to the lobby after I was done, and we ended up just starting a conversation, and we talked for several hours. It was really nice. We got to know each other, and then we had. We decided neither of us knew what we wanted for dinner, so we decided to try at one of the in-hotel restaurants, and that was nice too. And she kind of just hung out with me until my roommate arrived. Once he did, I realized that I was so intimidated by him. Let me just tell you a bit about my roommate. His name is Robin. Online, he goes by Nefarious Cloud. So if you want to look up Nefarious Cloud, you can see pictures of him and what kind of a person he is. He is a giant. He's a 6'5", 32-year-old black guy, and I'm standing here, a little nervous, white boy, and I was intimidated by him a little bit because he was huge. Two, he was cool. I mean, he just had so much swag, and I just felt like a tiny little dwarf nerd next to him. He was older and taller and just so much cooler. And I at first I was intimidated by him. I was like, I hope I'm not too annoying for you. But he's actually, like I said already, he's a very nice guy, super chill. And I mean, obviously he's nice because he was willing to let me be roommates with him. So I met him, and I grabbed my luggage from Keely's room, and then I took it to our room once we got 2 beds, and so that was nice. And that very first night, I had already eaten dinner, but Robin had not. So he asked me, like, "Hey, you want to like go across the street to Denny's?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Like, I appreciate the invite." And so that was after we ate a little bit. I just ate a bit of dessert, and then I went back to the hotel, and I conked out so fast. I slept. It was probably the best I've ever slept, ever, actually. That first night in LA, the hotel beds were really comfortable. So that was technically day 1 of Burbank, but it was not day 1 of the showcase, because day 1, from this point onward, I will refer to that as day 0, and day 1 was Tuesday, which is when the events all started. So, give me a second, because I feel a sneeze coming on. Bless me. Thank you. Okay. So Keely and Robin, those were the 2 people that I met day 0. Day 1 came along, and Tuesday I woke up and I got ready. I didn't have outfits picked for each day, but I definitely was dressing presentably. I mean, I don't think I have anything that's like unpresentable, but I was a little fancier than this. This is the most casual that I would go while I was there, but I usually had, like, you know, my plaid overshirt that I usually put on. I'm giving way too much detail. But the first thing we did was registration, so I went down and I saw Brooke again, which was really nice. And that was in the morning, or was it early afternoon? I don't remember, but it was it was sometime earlier in the day. And we went and we registered, and so we got this this number with our name on it. Actually, I still have it. Give me 1 second. I have it somewhere. Aha! All right, yeah. So we got a number with our name on it. I was number 614, and I wore it always. You know, even if I wasn't doing a performance, it was on my shirt, because that way I could meet new people. I mean, my name was right there, so it was easy for people to meet me. But also, in addition to that, I could tell when other people wore their tags, I could tell that they were also there for the arts as well. And so I got to it was a really nice way to meet other contestants. But the main reason for these is so that the judges, executives, and talent scouts could tell who we were. And they kept track of us with numbers for the most part. And if we were fortunate enough to get on a name basis with them, then that was also cool. So, putting that down. In day 1, oh, do we have 4 viewers? We had 4 viewers just like a minute ago. Who was it, pray tell? I don't know. Okay. Day 1, of the showcase. It was the evening time in which round one of singing, monologue, and dancing happened. So during registration. I met quite a few other people as well, some really really cool people. And then during the singing, dancing area time, I met another James. And there was a third James that I met. There were three Jameses in total, which is exactly why my name online is the other James. For those of you who, don't know, I'm called the other James online because everybody that I talk to already knows a James because it's a very common name. So I have branded myself as the other James. Everybody knows a James, so I'm the other James, right? So there were three Jameses there. That was cool. But round one out of three. There's 3 rounds in for singing, monologue, and dancing specifically. Those 3 events. There were several other events that happened, but for those 3 events, there were 3 rounds. So round one was in a room with 3 of the staff members and about 7 people auditioning, contesting. I don't know. The rounds aren't what brings... Oh, my screen just got dark. Why did it do that? Hello? Alright, that's kind of better. Now I'm like all washed out. Alright, that's... Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Okay. The first 3 rounds... Sorry. In the first round, there were 7 people in the room auditioning, and then 3 staff members who were judging or just running the tech. And so I did singing first. I went up and I sang Proud of Your Boy from Broadway's Aladdin. And then I rushed immediately to my monologue performance, where I performed a monologue from Ratatouille. I guess I don't have a video of it, again, because we weren't allowed to video, but I could perform it right now. Let me know in the chat. If you guys want to see my Ratatouille monologue where I played as Linguini talking to the rat in the jar, if you guys want to see me do that right now on camera, just let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I won't spend time doing that. So I did the monologue, and after both of those were done, then I just kind of relaxed for the rest of the night. And we were going to get... Round 2 was going to be the next night, and so we were going to get the list of who made it afterwards. If you did not make it into round 2, or from round 2 to round 3, that didn't mean that you were done for the week. Of course, there were multiple events that everybody was doing, but it's not like an elimination kind of a thing. It's just like they want to highlight the best performances and give them like a second chance to perform in front of everyone. So round 2 was on a stage the next day. Before I get ahead of myself, day 2, Wednesday. I have my Google Calendar up from last week, so I can remember everything that happened. At the end of day 1, at 8 at night, there was a master dance class. It was the first workshop that I went to, and we just learned some dance moves. It was a little difficult for me, so I didn't stay for the whole time, but I had fun. The next morning, we had a big, huge meeting. It was the welcome orientation, the beginning of day 2. There were some other people that didn't get to do their round 1 auditions the previous night, so they were scheduled the next morning. But during this welcome orientation, I was able to meet a wonderful person named Kim Myers. And it's her show. She's the one running the whole thing. It's a family-based, even faith-based showcase, which was really cool. And one thing that she's amazing at is just helping us all feel like family. So Kim Myers is somebody that more people should know, as she knows so many people. Like, there's so many people that know her, but like in a perfect world, everybody should know Kim Myers. So she had our welcome orientation, and she called us all her chocolate lava cakes because that's her favorite food, and there's just so much chocolate lava cake in the room. Troy, you said yes with a smile. Does that mean you want to see the monologue performed? But we did the orientation and we were all excited. It was like, the hype meeting. And after that, I had let's see what happened. There was a line learning lab with two people named, wow, I can't believe it, Chuck and Megan, the Mara Foley Project, I think is what it's called. But those are two very experienced individuals that had this whole, I think it was 2 hours. Most workshops are just 1 hour, but I think theirs was longer. And they did this whole thing in their workshop was about learning lines better. And this actually was very helpful. I'll share a little bit. They gave us some example scripts, and their instructions were to go through, like choose the first sentence, the first line, and read it out loud. The first time you read it, stress the first word. Like let's say, I can't remember. Let's say the first word. Let's say the beginning sentence is, oh my gosh. Guys, hey, in the chat, give me a random line from like media, like an iconic line, like my name is Inigo Montoya, or I guess we'll just do that one. I keep bumping the table and the computer shakes. We'll do that one. So if you're trying to memorize the line, my name is Inigo Montoya, you'll say you'll start, and the first time you read through it, you'll stress the first one. You'll say my name is Inigo Montoya, and then you'll read it again and you'll stress the next word. My name is Inigo Montoya. You'll keep going until you've stressed every word. My name is Inigo Montoya. My name is Inigo Montoya. My name is Inigo Montoya. I don't know why I did that voice with it, but that's the idea. And then you move on to the second line. You go, you killed my father. You killed my father. You killed my father. You killed my father. And then once you've done the second line, you do it again, adding the first and second lines to it. So you'll go, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. And with stressing each word, it'll imprint it better in your brain, and you'll remember what each word is and like what order you're supposed to say it. So after stressing each word and going through, I'll remember better that my line is, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Prepare to die. Prepare to die. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. So that was the biggest takeaway from the line learning lab, and it's a lot of fun, actually. It's a good exercise to learn lines that you have to, and it's a good way to have fun in a circle of friends, just stressing different words in a sentence if you're all trying to memorize the same script by chance. All right, so Troy has asked me to do the monologue, and I guess I have to comply. Moving my chair. I don't have a lot of room because my bed is right here, so we will aim this up a little bit. Let me turn that light off. All right. One thing that we did at this showcase is that we didn't slate. For those of you who aren't drama or theater kids, or who weren't theater kids in high school, slating is when you come up to the stage and you say, hi, my name is, I am performing a monologue from the show, I playing the character, and you introduce yourself and what you're about to perform. For this showcase, first of all, they wanted to skip the slating for a couple of reasons. One, to save time, and because they already have your number and your name, so they don't need to know who you are. And also, there was an MC, Master of Ceremonies, for every event except for the round 1 events, and he was announcing at least the number of each individual before they went on. So slating was unnecessary. But we went up. Hold on. I did that wrong. I definitely came onto the stage already pretending to hold the jar. Give me a second. Don't look at me like that. You're not the only one who's trapped. They expect me to cook it again. I mean, I'm not ambitious. I wasn't trying to cook. I was just trying to stay out of trouble. But you're the one who's getting fancy with all the little spices. What did you throw in there? Oregano? No, what? Rosemary? That's a spice, isn't it? Rosemary? You didn't put rosemary in there? Then what was with all the flipping and the throwing? And I need this job. I've lost so many. I don't know how to cook, and now I'm talking to a rat. As if you could... What? Did you nod? Wait, have you been nodding? Wait, you understand me? So I'm not crazy. And then I walked off the stage. So there you go. You can applaud now if you want with emojis. But that was the monologue performance that I did. I was obviously, I had an outfit picked out for it. I was dressed in all white and I had my tag on and I was mic'd on the stage. Well, I wasn't mic'd right here. I was mic'd right here. But a lot of people really enjoyed it. At least that's what I was told. And so that was a lot of fun. And I was very happy that I got to do the monologue for round 2, because I did go on with my monologue to the round 2 show, which was later that night on Wednesday night, day 2. And thank you, Troy. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I performed it on stage for round 2. I didn't get through for my singing, but that was okay. You know, I was just happy that I got through with something. So I got to round 2 with my monologue. And I'm trying to think. I think I'm skipping something that happened. Well, but a lot of people liked and remembered the Ratatouille monologue, and there's a couple of people who just pointed at me. If they didn't know me, they'd say Ratatouille guy. But by night 2, I had already made several friends, and so most people already knew me as James, or at least the other James. But yeah, I was Ratatouille guy after round 2. And after that, I watched the singing round 2 and the dancing for round 2. And let me tell you, that auditorium was absolutely packed to the brim with insane talent. Like, I've seen America's Got Talent, I've seen The Voice, but this one might have given them a run for their money. I'm just saying, because everybody on that stage was just insanely talented and knocked it out of the park. It was so good. Just the hotel itself was full of amazing talent. I am so proud of so many of the friends that I made that this last week. So, I think that's all for day 3. We got two people watching right now. All right, thank you to those 2 who are still watching. I should probably stop like checking and mentioning how many people we have watching, because I mean, the idea is not for everybody to watch this live. It's for them to watch it later. But I'll continue with the story now. What happened next? Oh, it was at one point Tuesday. I missed a workshop, which was sad, but it was because Tuesday night, day 1, not day 0, day 1, me and a couple of the other performers that I had made friends with, we were in this place in the hotel called the Concierge Lounge. It's just, you know, where you sit and you eat. And we met a dentist. She owned her own dental office, and like just 20 minutes away, like there in Burbank. And when she met us, she offered to give us free dental work if we were to come and like film like ourselves reacting to it, or like getting the dental work, or, you know, some sort of like social media advertisement. And so Tuesday, me and one other person went. Her name is, the person that went with me, her name is Lexi, and she's an amazing human being, and I was just really appreciative of her the whole week. We went, she drove, and we went to, because she got a rental car, we went to the dental office at one point on Wednesday, and the total time that we took there was like an hour on Wednesday and then a couple of hours on Thursday. And while we were there, they filmed me getting some dental work done, which was nice. It's technically my first acting job that I got. Is my first gig. It wasn't really acting. I mean, I did a little bit, but I basically just gave him a shout out, and the camera was watching as they checked my teeth. And Lexi was in the hallway taking selfies with like their camera, looking at my teeth and putting it on the giant monitor. So Lexi has several selfies that she sent to our little group chat with just my teeth on full display. And not sure how I feel about that yet, but it was that was an interesting thing that I didn't expect to happen while I was in LA. So I've already done an acting job in LA, but that was all of day 3, day 2. Day 0 is Monday, Tuesday's day 1, Wednesday's day 2. Day 3, one thing about this showcase was that every person was going to do at least 3 performances. So you got to choose 3 events to perform in, and if you wanted to do more, you could like pay extra to have them as add-ons. Like I said, I barely made it financially in the first place, so I only did 3. I did singing and monologue, and then my third one was film scene, which was done the next day. Thursday, after the morning of being at the dental office, unfortunately, I missed a couple of workshops again, which I didn't want to do, but I was getting actual experience in exchange for that. And so I wanted to go to those workshops, but I have friends who did, and they can supply me their notes that they took. And there were several times where I did that with me and another friend. There were some workshops that overlapped, and so I asked them to go to this one and like take notes for me while I went to this one and took notes for them. So, oh my gosh. Sorry, my face just got itchy. Day 3, after filming for the dental office, we came back and we watched the TV commercial. So day 3, there were 3 events. There was the TV commercial, the film scene, and the improv, which a lot of people asked me why I didn't do TV commercial or improv, and there's not really a good answer. It's just like between the 3 of them, film scene piqued my interest most. But improv definitely looked fun, and I think I would do TV commercial given the chance. So for the TV commercial we watched, and everybody had chosen ahead of time a commercial that they rehearsed and delivered to the camera. What happened was that everybody doing TV commercial were like lined up in another room elsewhere in the building, and everybody was in the audience watching the screens on the stage as they performed their TV commercial. And there was somebody behind the camera saying like ready and action right before they delivered their TV commercial to the camera, and it was broadcasted live into the room with the audience and the stage and everything. Excuse me. So that was the same for TV commercial, film scene, and improv, just all during day 3. So the TV commercial was great. It was entertaining. It was fun to see people's takes on like Listerine mouthwash and Allstate and different things like that. L'Oreal. And there were a couple that were really good. I was like, wow, that looked and sounded exactly like an Allstate commercial or something like that. And for the film scene, which was a couple hours later, that was my event that I was in. What happened is that we got our script for this film scene that we were going to be doing about 24 hours previous, and we had about 24 hours, maybe like 36 hours, I don't remember, We had about that long to memorize it. And thankfully, I had already gone through that line learning lab that I'd already told you guys about. And so I already had a plan for how to learn my lines. And so I'll tell you guys, apparently each film scene that we got, they were really short. You had anywhere from like 3 to 5 lines maybe. I had 4. I had 4 lines. And it's an A and B scene. And my lines are highlighted so I know who I'm supposed to be. And the person behind the camera is delivering person B's lines. So I got my film script, my film scene script. And apparently each script that was given, because everybody got a different script, is from some other show or film or movie or something. But I was reading mine and I had no idea where it was from. Oh, I didn't even know that at that point, but there was zero context. And I'd like to see if any of you recognize this film scene in the chat. Because it might have been a TV show, it might have been a movie, I'm not sure yet. But I'm just going to not read because I don't have the script in front of me, but I've practically memorized it. It's just a short little scene. Tell me if any of you recognize where this is from. I'm not going to do it in character. I'm just going to tell you what the dialogue said. The first line is, "You'll stand by my side no matter what, right?" "Of course." "Say it. Say, I promise I will never betray you for any reason." "I promise I will never say or do anything to cause you harm." "Good. Because I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't born in the Ukraine. Those aren't my memories, and I hate clowns." "What do you mean?" "Dude, I don't think I'm supposed to be here." That was the film scene I got, and I had zero context as what the heck was happening in this scene. So I first practiced on memorizing the lines, and once I had the lines memorized, then I decided to try to deliver it in some way that made sense. Because that middle part of, like, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not from Ukraine, those aren't my memories, and I hate clowns, I was like, what in the world? Who is speaking right now? What is this scene? And so my strategy, I kept looking into the script and reading the lines and trying to make sense of what could possibly be happening in here. Some interpretation that I could make of this scene to make it entertaining or different and not just me reading the lines. Eventually, I latched onto the line that says I wasn't born in Ukraine, and I decided that this character must have been fooling the other one at the beginning. It seemed like some kind of big reveal, because he was checking, like, I can trust you, right? And then he, like, spilled his secrets to him, that he wasn't a lawyer and that he wasn't from Ukraine. So I figured I'm gonna start off with the Ukrainian accent. So I did my research and I figured out how to do a Ukrainian accent. Not a Russian accent, but a Ukrainian one. And I performed it to the camera as so. "You'll stand by my side no matter what, right?" And then the other person behind the camera delivers the line. "Say it. Say, oh no, sorry, I messed up. Promise me. Say it. Say, I promise I will never betray you for any reason." "Good. Because I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't born in the Ukraine. Those aren't my memories. And I hate clowns." And then the guy asks, "What do you mean?" And I laugh. I say, "Dude, I don't think I am supposed to be here." And then I walk off. And apparently people liked that one too, because it was different and I got to showcase a bit of my voice acting chops. So that was the film scene I did. We're about an hour into the stream, so let's just applaud ourselves right here. I planned for the stream to be about an hour or 2 hours long, and we're making really good time because we are more than halfway through the story. So the film scene was my last performance of the week. Because after round 2, my monologue did not make it into round 3. It was a big cut for the monologues. From round 1 to round 2, it was a big cut for the singers, but from round 2 to round 3, it was a huge cut for the monologues. But every monologue that made it in was phenomenal, so I wasn't upset about it. I mean, originally, like, yeah, I was like, oh, dang, I was kind of hoping to get in there. But I had already performed for round 2 in front of everybody, so I didn't need round 3, and that wasn't why I went. I didn't go for the rounds. I went for the callbacks. The whole idea of this showcase is that you'll perform for 4 days. Everybody will have the performances for the first 4 days, and then day 5, you get callbacks or contract offers from every one of the executives that wants to work with you, right? So we had, after film scene, a couple hours later, I watched the improvisation event, and there was one that I'd just like to kind of give him a shout out, because his was, everybody remembers his. He might be a little embarrassed by it, because the thing he was given the prompt that he was given to improvise on, he didn't know what it meant, but he still absolutely killed it. So in the improv event, it's definitely scary. It's terrifying. I think that I would have liked to do it, and that given the chance, I would. But it's you get up in front of the camera, just like the other events, and the person behind the camera reads a prompt to you. They say, give us a commercial for Lego, or sing us a song titled Flex on 'em. I'm trying to think of examples that were actually done in the showcase. Or they'll say, give us a monologue titled My Cat Just Died, or things like that. And you had to just improvise on the spot, and you had maybe about like a minute to do so. And so this one man, his name is Kenny, and I love him to death. He's awesome. Okay, there's two men. There's two men that I'm going to talk about. There was Kenny and there was Lester, and they were just kind of like an unbreakable duo. Everybody who knew Kenny knew Lester, and they're just great friends. But Kenny is bald, and he went up, and his prompt was, give us a commercial for Cantu shampoo. And on camera, I see him go, just look at the person who just gave him the prompt, because he's bald. And so we got a shampoo commercial. So he looks to the camera and immediately goes, you see these luscious locks? As he's stroking his bald head, he's like, that's because I use Cantu shampoo. And it was the funniest thing ever, and everybody remembered it. A little bit later on, his friend Lester came up, and Lester was given the prompt. They said, give us a commercial for Blockbuster. Lester did not know what Blockbuster was, so he thought for a second, and he went, if you've ever had a door that is just blocked and you're stuck with this Blockbuster, then you need to get the Unblockbuster to get through the door. And it was, again, the funniest thing ever. He found out afterwards what Blockbuster was, that it was like a video store. But that's the kind of vibe that you get with improv. Whatever you get, you just go for it. And there were a couple of songs that people sang. There was somebody who got the Lego commercial, and they were like, Lego, stubbing toes since 1947. And none of us know. I don't know when Lego was founded. Actually, let's look it up real quick. When was Lego founded? 1932. Okay, so he wasn't that off. He was almost within a decade. But the improv event was one of my favorites to watch. Uh-oh, I think the stream is buffering. Why is the stream buffering, pray tell? Okay, I hope my stream's healthy. Let's make sure that we're doing good. Okay, I think we're good. All right. I saw my stream buffer for a second, but we Gucci. Okay. The next thing that happened after that, oh, we went up to 4 viewers again. I don't know who that was. Hey guys, for any of you who haven't been in this in the chat room, please go ahead and say hi in the chat so I know who's here and ask any questions that you have as we go along. Okay, the improv performances were great, and then I had this is the night of this is night 3. Night 3. There was one last workshop with a guy who is really cool, and you might not know his name, but you'll definitely know his performances. His name is Jason Griffith, and Jason Griffith was the voice actor for Sonic the Hedgehog in both the video games and the TV shows for, I want to say, about 10 years. I'm iffy on that. I don't remember where I got that information or if I just like thought it up in my head, but he's been Sonic the Hedgehog for a while. He's not anymore, but he was. And he also did Shadow the Hedgehog, and he was in Pokemon and a few other animes, and so he's done a lot of voiceover work. He's done commercials and stuff. But we had a workshop with him where he talked about specifically voice acting, which is something that I am interested in. And he was open to questions, and he answered our questions. It was kind of like a panel at Comic-Con, except it was a lot more up close and personal, and we got to actually meet him, which was really nice. And after he was done, he was, a guest star, and he was there just for the night, but he was really cool guy, really just honest with how the industry has worked in his experience. And one of the big takeaways that I had was that you never know what's going to happen. Like, the most talented person in the room could just never be discovered by the right people, and then somebody who is like kind of mediocre talented could be discovered by like that one person that could use them for something. This is kind of his words. I'm paraphrasing, but like the idea is that like if you're not getting discovered, it doesn't mean that you're not doing well. It's just you never know what could happen, right? A lot of these things in this industry just happen by luck, and the best thing you can do is to keep putting yourself out there, meet new people, network with new people. I have so many people that I know and they know me now after this last week, both fellow contestants and people who gave workshops, staff members, things like that. And so this last week was just a huge learning experience for me, and I took a lot away from it. I see we have more people watching right now, so go ahead and say hi in the chat if you do feel so inclined. We are a little over halfway through the story, but that was night 3. And now we're on day 4, which was our last day of performances, and it was the modeling day. Everything was on the runway on day 4, which was Friday. So I wasn't on the runway because I didn't do any modeling, but the 3 performances that day were themed runway, and the theme was Y2K, which I only found out later meant year 2000. So all of the outfits were inspired by the year 2000. And then there was the swimsuit runway, which before you all go like at that, like I said, this is a family-based showcase, and it was family-friendly. They had a pretty strict dress code on the swimsuits, and that is a huge part of the high fashion industry. So, like, of course they would include that. It made sense. And so, like, every swimsuit needed to be family-friendly, not super risque, right? And so that's a lot of people appreciated that. I thought that it was very. I thought it was a good thing that they have those values because there's children and adults here at this showcase. So it was nice to, see that they cared enough to have like a dress code like that. So then the third one, which was my favorite, was the creative runway, where basically they went to the most creative people and they said, have fun. And so we got a dress that was made out of playing cards. We got a skirt made out of spoons. We had an entire outfit dress that actually won the entire creative runway competition. It was an entire dress made out of like bottle corks, which was cool to see. There was just a whole lot of creativity. Not all of them were like super. Not all of them were like handmade. Some of them were just wacky combinations, or like somebody came on as like a Christmas Mandalorian with a Baby Yoda puppet. It was really just do whatever you want, and that one was fun to watch. I've never been a person to watch on TV and be like, yeah, runway, woohoo, fashion. But I definitely was like impressed. I was impressed. I was intrigued. I was like, wow, this is entertaining. So I mean, it was pretty cool. For the most part of day 4, I was not, I wasn't doing anything other than watching the runway performances, and in between going to workshops. And so there were several workshops that I took that day. It was absolutely packed with workshops, understanding open interviews and callbacks, the business of show business, things about the music industry, the survival guide to living in LA. I remember going to that one, and that one was very informative. The biggest takeaway I had from that one was that you don't have to live in LA. And if you do it smart, right? I don't imagine myself living in Los Angeles. And like, even if I did, I'd probably not want to live there like super long term, right? And that's just, for some people it works, for some people it doesn't. And I don't know what the future holds, but after that we had a workshop for stunt actors, and then there was a workshop for social media, a workshop for what agents are looking for, a workshop for, what was this one? Oh, singing and stage presence. I'm trying to remember what I was doing during those, because I don't remember going to those 3. I can't imagine why, though. Oh, wait. No, I remember. I remember what I was doing. We were getting a late lunch, but it was like lunch dinner. But I was also grabbing a lunch dinner for one of my friends who was in all 3 runways, and she was stressed out, and the creative runway was the last one, and that was the one that needed the most time. She was the one wearing the dress made out of playing cards. It was like a Queen of Hearts theme that she was going for. So she had a lot to prepare for, and she was also starving. So I remember I went to eat lunch with like a couple other friends, but I also got her food as well and brought it to her hotel room so that she wouldn't have to spend time going to get food. Okay, I remember what I was doing now. I was freaking out for a second because I was like, wait, there's an entire gap in my memory about what was happening at that point. And then there was a final workshop called Dream Smart. Dream big, but dream smart, And then Friday night was round 3, the talent show, which was quite the event. It was the top singer. I think it was 8, the top 8. No. Yes. It was somewhere, a number around there. It was the top 8 monologues, singers, and dancers. I think it was a number somewhere around there. And my, oh my, I thought that that round 2 was the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I mean, round 3, I got to see it again, and it was absolutely insane. My friend that I mentioned before at the beginning, Keely from Canada, absolutely slayed the board. I mean, her song, not just because she was the first friend that I met, but because she is genuinely an insane vocalist. I don't know if I've heard in person a voice as powerful as hers. It was insane. There were a lot of really awesome singers, but she was definitely one of my favorites. For that, I am a little biased because she was my first friend that I made in LA, but she got, I think she got more than she expected. She's a believer in God, like I am. and she kept telling me that like whatever happens, whether the performances go well this week for her or whether they don't, it's all in God's hands, and He knows better, so she'll trust whatever happens. If something needs to happen, then He'll make it happen. But of course, just as I knew she would, she went like all the way, and she just did amazing, absolutely spectacular. And so the talent show was, I keep itching my nose, which is like not super attractive on camera, but my nose is just itchy right now. Uh-oh. All right. We buffered for a second there, but all that I was saying was that we now I've explained the first 4 days, which were all the performances, and now we are on Saturday. So Saturday morning, we all got up, we all got ready, we got dressed as if we were going to a job interview, and we were all given a piece of paper. These were our callbacks, which basically on the sheet of paper it was going to tell us how many and which agents had interest in working with us. And we were told to keep it to ourselves for the most part, because we needed to focus on both the open interviews and the callbacks. Here's how the last day worked. Open interviews were the first part of the day for about 3.5 hours. Or was it like 2.5 hours? I don't remember. It was a while. It was a while. We'll say about 3 hours. For 3 hours, you go into a room, and each company agent, they all are sitting at their booth, and you get in a line to go talk to them. You get to do this twice, once for open interviews, once for callbacks. During the open interviews, you go and talk to the people who didn't give you a callback, and they'll give you open and honest feedback, which is more valuable than gold. And so there were people that I wanted callbacks from that I didn't get callbacks from. My hope for last week was to get signed on with an agent and like immediately just start acting in movies and TV shows and commercials. That's not what happened. I got something different, but still really good and really exciting. So I talked to some of the people that I was hoping to catch their attention and get going as an actor with, and they gave me their open and honest feedback. One of them loved, a couple of them absolutely loved my Ratatouille monologue. And one of them liked my film scene as well. But there was one judge who actively disliked my monologue, which I, stuck in my own head. I didn't realize that was possible, but he didn't say so in like a disrespectful way. Absolutely not. No, he was open with his feedback. I asked him, I was like, how do you perceive me as not just as a performer, but as a person? And he was saying, like, you're quirky and you're funny and you're fun to be around, but I didn't like the monologue. For him, he let me know that monologues just aren't his thing in general. He doesn't really enjoy monologues. But in addition to that, he doesn't enjoy monologues from animated films, because he doesn't feel like you can connect as much with them because it's obviously fake. Like, when you're watching an animated movie, you're not supposed to believe that it's real because it's animated. And because of that, it can seem a little too cartoonish. And for him, it did. He prefers to see the kind of acting where you can be convinced that it's real, right? Oh my gosh, my face is so itchy right now. So I took what he said and his feedback to heart, and I'm proud of what I did with my monologue, but I feel like, if I ever got to do it again, I would do it differently. I would choose something that's not as close to how I am as a person already. Like Linguini from Ratatouille, he's a very nervous and like anxious kind of guy, and I'm not necessarily nervous and anxious. I can be, but he and I have a lot of similar mannerisms. We're both like skinny, awkward young adults who mean well, but like still mess up sometimes. He's not too far from how I am as a person in general. And so I think that if I got to do it again, or for future monologues or auditions that I have, I would want to show more acting in the sense where like acting like a character that's not like myself. So like a villain monologue, or somebody who's wow, that was really narcissistic of me to say that like I'm super far from a villain. I hope I'm far from a villain, but like the idea is like playing somebody who isn't like how I already am, right? Because me being on stage acting like Linguini is how I act in social situations anyway. At least like when I'm trying to be funny, right? So me acting like a mentor, or somebody who's like depressed and sad, or a villain, or something different, something that's not close to how I am already as a person, right? So that's kind of what I got from that. Several of the people during open interviews also informed me. They gave me some names of people that they know locally in Utah, where I live, casting agents that I could get in contact with and get work here in Utah. So that's exciting. And, maybe something will happen there, maybe it won't, but I've been given advice on what to do. One person I talked to during the open interviews suggested that if I'm going to get into film, I need a reel, because I can audition and I can give my little paper that like is my talents, my arts resume. But a short film, a reel, a demo reel, which would be about like 5 minutes or so, would be a short film to showcase myself as a performer. And I could showcase all my skills and, my strengths. And so I'm going to be working with a friend in the near future to make said reel. And I imagine that it'll probably be on YouTube as well. So I'm excited for that. But I walked away from the open interviews, uh-oh, we're disconnected again. All right, we're good. We good. Okay. We disconnected again for a second. It was important to me that I didn't just go to the showcase and have a great time, perform a bunch, and then go home and just, resume normal life and not change anything, right? So I do have more things to look forward to. And that's just, I haven't even gotten to the callbacks yet. That's just with the open interviews. So I have people to reach out to. I have people to talk to. Oh my gosh. I totally skipped one of my favorite workshops. I just remembered it. That's okay. I'll talk about that workshop. It was the stunt workshop, which was amazing and awesome. And I'll talk about that after I'm done finishing up the story of the week. So I, after the open interviews, the second half of the day, after like a lunch break, you go back in for callbacks, which is where you go and you talk to the people who gave you callbacks. I received 2 callbacks, which for me was a good number. Especially for my first time doing anything this big, I liked 2 callbacks. 2 is a good number. Anything more than that, I think it might have gone to my head, or I might have, not treated it as valuably as they are, right? But I got 2 callbacks. The first one is for like an online casting agent. So I wasn't being offered a contract or anything, but it was somebody who was saying, I'm interested in your skills and you should join my website where you get casting opportunities. So that was the first callback. The second callback, I was a little more excited for, and it's something that I hadn't expected. It was 2 guys from the New York Conservatory of Dramatic Arts, which is an acting school in New York. If you couldn't tell from the beginning, that said it's the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. And they gave me a callback. They gave quite a few people a callback, actually. I think they had the longest line in there. So I could have looked at the line and been like, oh, like, I'm not that special. Everybody got a callback from them. But it was important to me that I actually, see what it was about. So they talked to me, and basically they were inviting me. They said, we're interested in your talent, and we like what we see, and we'd like for you to go to our school. And so I've been to college fairs before in high school, and I was like, okay, I appreciate that. That's cool. But I haven't gone to college. It's been kind of a question mark in my head if I ever will. I'm starting online courses in January for BYU Pathway, which is an online program, and it's very, cheap, and it's a good way to start college and then decide if it's something you actually want to go for. If it's not something you want to do. So I had my call back with them, and I was thinking like, oh, this is nice to be wanted, and I'll do more research on this. Like, I'm not sure yet. And we'll get back to that in a bit. After all the open interviews and then all the callbacks, it was just relaxing and chilling for the rest of the day. Spent some time with my friends that I had made, and we got ready for the red carpet celebration, the final night, and it was the talent show and or the red carpet celebration. One of those was like my favorite night, either Friday night or Saturday night. But I need to get some water. That's what I need to do. Let's see. It's been an hour and a half on the stream. Oi. Oh, my nose. It's so itchy. I don't know what's wrong. Give me just a second. Okay, so the red carpet celebration, we dress up all fancy, right? We're going to a red carpet event. It's great, yeah? It's a red carpet celebration with an awards ceremony, and it's like the finale. And we're taking pictures with everybody. It was really nice. That night is where most of my pictures came from, the pictures that I'll be posting on social media later. And with all of my friends that I made. Most of the pictures I have are from Saturday, the last day. So, went to the red carpet celebration, and I had my youngest sister, who was 9 years old, choose my red carpet outfit about a month ahead of time. I brought all my fancy clothes to her, and I said, like, help me, like you are my stylist. Dress me up and tell me what I'm gonna wear for the red carpet event. And she chose pretty well, I will say. I was wearing a yellow button-down shirt with a gold tie, and over it was my white suit jacket, and I had my white dress pants and my white dress shoes. And so my Ratatouille monologue outfit was a bit of a sneak peek at what I was going to be wearing at the red carpet event later that week. A lot of people commented to me on it. They were like, oh my gosh, you are just white. You are like a golden angel. And I can't take credit for it. I have to give it to my little sister. And I've decided that she will be my stylist for the rest of time and all eternity. Because she has impeccable fashion sense. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of the pictures that I have are me in my red carpet outfit, with others that were there, and there were a lot of really cool outfits. It was cool to just see everybody all dressed up, and it was a lot of fun. So we all sat down and we were ready for the awards ceremony. The first thing that happened was, I went on and there were a bunch of trophies on the stage. I was like, whoa, who's getting those and for what? There was quite a few, actually. I was like, they were all different sizes. I think there were like 4 different sizes of trophies on there. I didn't know what they were for, but he told us eventually. But first, before they did that, they had like their opening ceremonies. The Master of Ceremonies, who's a really cool guy, I got to meet him too. He introduced the 2. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the the stream. It keeps bugging out. Hopefully we won't have that much longer. But the first college gave their scholarships, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this was happening. And then the second college came up, the New York Conservatory of Dramatic Arts, and they gave about 12 scholarships, which, I mean, they had a lot more people that they gave callbacks to, but the people that they gave scholarships to was less than that. And so they have a 2-year program that they were giving scholarships for, and they also have a summer intensive program that they were giving scholarships for. And for those of you who don't know, the summer intensive would be like all the things you learned during those 2 years crammed into 4 weeks. And that's why it's called an intensive. And I was called on the stage. I was one of the 6-ish people to be called on stage to receive a scholarship for the summer intensive program at the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. Finally, we're like an hour and a half into the stream, and that's the big reveal. One of the big reveals. So that's what I got from going, and I'm very happy with it. It takes about a third of the tuition away, which is very nice. And now I have something to look forward to this summer. I can go in June or I can go in July. The great thing about this is that I wasn't the only one who got the scholarship. There were several other friends that I made who did, and we are making plans to all go together this summer for a 4-week schooling in New York, and that is super wow, exciting for me. I lived in New York once in middle school for only about 6 months, and I'm only going again for 4 weeks, but it'll be really cool to go, and I'm going to learn a lot, I'm going to grow a lot, and it's going to be very demanding and fast-paced, and that's kind of how I like it. The idea of committing 2 years to school, 2 or more years to school, kind of makes me nervous. Even a whole semester makes me nervous. I don't know why. Maybe that's just my personality. But the idea of a 4-week intensive, I like that. I like that a lot better. So I'm gonna be going there. Hopefully, that's the plan. And I'm gonna be going with these friends that I've made who've also got the scholarship. And I'm gonna see them again, and we're all gonna get an Airbnb to cut costs. We're all gonna split the cost, and that way we won't have to pay for expensive student housing or just New York housing in general. So that is something that's really, really exciting. After all of the scholarships were given out, we got a, you know what? I think I do have it. Give me a second. I have the scholarship right here. It's in my drawer. Here we go. Right there. The New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. And you can open it, and you can see right here, I got $1,000 right there. Boom! Very exciting. There's a picture of me still in my red carpet outfit going freaking out about it, because it is really cool and really exciting. All right, putting that away. All right, so after that, all the trophies that were on stage were for category awards. So there was thirds. So basically, for each category, for the singing, singing, monologue, dancing, themed runway, swimsuit, creative runway, improv, film scene, and TV commercial. For each of those events, they called up one by one the 5 finalists, the 5 top performances. And I had a lot of friends that I was screaming and cheering for as they were called up. And out of the 5 finalists standing on stage, they first announced the 3rd place finalist. They were given the smallest trophy. 2nd place got a slightly bigger trophy. And then 1st place got not the biggest trophy up there. There were 5 of the biggest trophies. But then the categories, they all had 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place trophies. And so the 4th and 5th place got medals. And it was really great. It was man, this is awesome. It was so cool to watch, and it was cool to cheer for my friends. Everybody who got up there really deserved it. Some people went up several times. And then after each category was awarded, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd place awards, then the 5 big trophies that were sitting in the center were for overall performers. And basically, it was the 5 people that over all performances, all categories, performed the best in in the judge's opinion, in the art staff opinion. So 5 really talented people got called up, and I was just super proud of all of them. They absolutely knocked it out of the park, absolutely deserved it. One of the people that got called up was Sarah, who I mentioned earlier was in the Tucson auditions with me. And she absolutely slayed, did an amazing job. She should know that she did fantastic. After the event was done, We all said our goodbyes. Well, some of our goodbyes. Some of us didn't see each other, before we left. That was the last time I saw some of them, because everybody, went to bed that night, and then some of us got up in the morning and left on the planes. Some of us left Monday instead of Sunday. But I took pictures with everyone, had a great time, and then a big group of us, we said, let's go to downtown Hollywood tonight. And I was like, heck yes. So that was a lot of fun. I was like, I'm not going in this white suit though. I'm not about to take my white shoes down to downtown Hollywood. So we went, like, a lot of us got changed, we got dressed, and then we met at a pizza place in downtown Hollywood. Like, we got, some of us had a rental car, some of us had Ubers. It was a big, huge group. We filled the entire restaurant. It was a small restaurant though. We went to this pizza place, we ate pizza, and then we all went our separate ways. Some of us went walking down the Walk of Fame. We saw all the stars on the sidewalk, and we saw a bunch of cool restaurants and sights to see, and it was just a really fun night. And eventually we went home. No, we went to the hotel, and we got back to the hotel, and it was 4 of us that hung out in one of our hotel rooms. But I was falling asleep in the car, in the Uber on the way back. And then once we got back to the hotel room, it was like 3:00, and I was just like conked out at the foot of the bed, just absolutely exhausted. But it was nice, and it was so much fun. I went to bed, and I saw most of them the next morning, and I said bye. There was one little girl who her monologue made it to round 3. Well, mine didn't. I think she was the youngest, one of the youngest kids there. But I mean, I made friends with so many different kinds of people that I would never expect to meet or make friends with in any other circumstance. But even though we all came from different walks of life, and we were all different ages and races and ethnicities and nationalities, we all came from different religions, all sorts of stuff. We all had something in common, and it's because we were all there. We all had pretty much the same goals for ourselves, and we were there to support each other. And I'm in so many group chats now. I'm in contact with so many of them still. I mean, it's only been a week since then, but I'm going to continue being in contact with them because now that I've gone to the LA showcase, I think I might have mentioned before that the Arts International showcases, they have 2 every year. The winter one is in Los Angeles in December, and then the summer one in July is in Orlando, Florida. And a lot of the friends that I made here in the Burbank one, Los Angeles one, they had originally gone to the Orlando one and were coming back as alumni. And I found out that I'm an arts alumni now. And as an arts alumni, you can go to any showcase in the future for crazy discounted tuition cost. I think it's only like $1,000 instead of 3. And you can, and remember how I said I could only do 3 performances because you have to pay for each of the ones to add on? As an alumni, you can do any and all of them. So like how I was saying, I wish I did improv. Like, if I got the chance to do it again, I would. If I got the chance to do singing or monologue again, I would do things differently. I am absolutely taking advantage of that. And hopefully this year, because I'm going to be on the East Coast anyway, in either June or July, because there's 2 options for the summer intensive. I'm going to be on the East Coast anyway, so I'm absolutely wanting to go to the Orlando showcase. I've never been to Florida anyway, and so it's something I got to cross off my bucket list eventually. I've been to almost every state that borders the Atlantic Ocean, except Florida. So, yeah, I'm going to be seeing a lot of friends that I've made here at the Los Angeles showcase are going to the Orlando one as well. Some of them have already been, and they're going again, like a 3rd time. And so going again, the purpose of going again, oh, my screen just went dark again. Sorry if that blinded you. The benefits of going again are, well, one, that I will get more experience. I'll learn more. I didn't get to go to a lot of the workshops this time, for various reasons. But like, if I got to go again, I would absolutely attend every single one of them. And I'll also be able to, do better than I did last time and get discovered by more people. Maybe the people that I was trying to get their attention this time, will see that I've improved, and I'll get their attention this time. And so I'm excited because this year I know what I'm doing. I have a plan. I'm starting a new job in January that's going to pay me a lot better, so I'm going to save up for this. And I'm not in the middle of moving out or buying a car, so it'll be easier this time. But I'm finally kicking off, and I'm very excited about it. I can see I have my foot in the door, and I can see more of what's inside this industry. I can see more of how it works and the reality of it all. And dream big, but dream smart. It's true. So I left, that night after our whole night in downtown Hollywood. The next morning I left, and I mentioned that one girl, a little girl who I think was the youngest there. She was in like a group of friends that I was waving bye to as I slow motion left the hotel with my luggage to walk across the street back to the airport. Right before I left, she suddenly broke from the group and just ran and just gave me a hug, and everybody just melted. And she's the little girl. I think she and her mom will be coming back in Orlando too. So I was like, don't worry, we'll see each other again. This little girl was having so much fun the whole week, and it was sad for her to say bye to everybody. She started getting teary-eyed at one point. Because it makes sense. Like, she made a bunch of awesome friends, had a bunch of awesome time. For a little kid, that's like amazing, right? And so she just like many other people, I can't wait to see them again because they're just awesomely talented people. Even the parents, like there were several kids or teenagers that I interacted with or performed with, and they're just super sweet, but their parents were even sweeter. I got adopted by like several different families from several different like ethnicities that aren't my own, but they're just like the kindest people ever. And we're all coming from the same boat. We're all, trying to get our foot in the door, and we are all helping each other get there. It's such a great support system already. It's only been, I was only with them for a week, but it was a change of scenery that I needed. I mentioned before that I've been going through a hard time recently, not just because I've been getting all my finances together, but things happen in life. But this was a change of pace that I needed, at least for a week. It was a change of scenery, and I met so many amazing people that have helped me more than they know just already. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. So I believe we have 3 people still watching. At this point, well, if you're not watching this live, if you've gotten to this point, thank you for staying this long. Like, oh my gosh, this is a long live stream. I don't know how long live streams are usually supposed to be, but it's been about 2 hours now. I will open up the last 10 minutes to questions in the chat before I decide that I'm hungry enough to go get lunch. But I'd like for anybody still watching, please put your questions in the chat. Are you guys interested in acting or singing or modeling or dancing? Anything that didn't make sense to you, anything that you want to hear about? I have plenty of hilarious, funny stories. I gave most of the informational bits. That's mostly what I've given so far. I've given mostly informational bits of how the week worked and what happened. But now is kind of the last 10 minutes. It's a free-for-all. Go ahead and ask your questions. Even if you're not watching live, if you're watching this after the fact, put your questions in the comments below, because I will absolutely answer them and tell you what I know, what I've learned. While I wait for questions, I will give one last story. Somebody that I met, I mentioned the stunt workshop for stunt actors. I'm not necessarily looking to get into stunt acting specifically, but it is cool to learn about and very exciting, and it's something that I'd be willing to try at least. But the stunt, the person giving, the stunt actress that was instructing us in this workshop, She's an amazing person, and her name is Molly Miller. And if you don't know her, that's because nobody watches the credits of movies anymore. But you've definitely seen her on screen. I mean, of course, you'll never know it's her because she's a stunt double. But she is an amazing woman who stands at about 4 feet tall, and she's a stunt double for child actors. You have seen her stunt doubling for Eleven in Stranger Things. You've seen her stunt doubling for young Princess Leia in Obi-Wan Kenobi. You've seen her stunt doubling for the Tatooine Jawas in The Mandalorian. She has been in several horror movies, stunt doubling for kids. I'm trying to remember. I haven't watched as many horror movies as other people have, so I don't remember the names of them all. But she does explosions, she does falls, she does combat. Oh, you've seen her stunt doubling in Avatar: Way of Water, which, I mean, it's hard to recognize any of the actors in there because they're all blue. But she stunt doubles for some of the Na'vi children. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Na'vi. I haven't seen an Avatar movie all the way through, but I'm definitely going to now because I know somebody that's in it. But she's stunt doubled for so many things. Walking Dead, I think she stunt doubled in that as well. Grey's Anatomy, that's another one. And there's a movie coming up from Blumhouse. My screen keeps going dark. What is it doing? There is, I'm a little washed out. Hold on. There we go. All right. There is there's a film coming out soon in theaters from Blumhouse, and it's a horror movie called Night Swim. You guys might have seen trailers for it if you've gone to the movies recently. At first, I wasn't crazy interested in it, but I know that my new friend Molly Miller is in it, so I'm absolutely going to go see it. And I'm going to keep an eye out for any moment that could have been her, because, of course, like stunt doubles, you're not supposed to know that it's them. It's supposed to look like it's the actor. But now, like, I used to sit around for credits of movies watching for actors' names, but now I watch for actors and stunt doubles' names because I know a stunt double, and she's awesome. So yeah, that was a cool person to meet. I met Molly Miller, I met Jason Griffith, voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, several other people. I met Chad Brodsky, who you guys would know from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Wizards of Waverly Place. That's how he got his acting career started with Disney Channel, and he now owns his own talent agency, casting agency, whatever you want to call it. So I met him. Here's another funny story. By the way, for anybody still watching, totally welcome to ask questions in the comments. This is what this last section's for. I'm just talking until 12, or until I get a question in the chat. But Chad Brodsky, I had a funny moment with him actually during the round 2 event, which was night 2 of the week. I finished my monologue, and before the singing started, I quickly ran to my hotel room to grab a box of pizza for my dinner, and I didn't have time to eat it because I wanted to be there for the singing and for the dancing. And so I rushed back down to the main floor and to the convention center where we were, and I took my seat. I was sitting behind Chad Brodsky. I was in the front row, and the judges' table was in front of us. And so I went and I sat. I was ducking low so that the cameras, I wouldn't get in the way of any cameras. I was ducking low, and I ran to my seat with this box of pizza, and he turns around in his seat, and he does a double take, and he just goes, "What?" And he's like, I can't even. He thought it was funny. He nudged the judge next to him, and he was like, "This kid just brought in a full box of pizza." And a couple of the people I was sitting with was laughing too. I was trying not to be distracting. I hadn't eaten, and that was my dinner, leftover pizza. And so I didn't eat. I put it under my seat until the show was over. And then as soon as it was over, I pulled it out, and I offered some slices to the people next to me. I even offered Chad Brodsky a slice. He already had food with him at his table, so he was fine. He didn't want it. But from then on out, I guess I do have another story to tell. You know how I said that with all of these, big fancy people, they're really just humans, right? They're humans just like us. They just have really cool jobs that we all wish that we had. They we're all staying in the same hotel. We're eating at the same restaurants, and we're walking by, interacting not just with performances on stage, but also just as people in the hallways for a whole week. And so there was one morning, I think no, it might have been evening. It was like day 3 or 4, but I was walking past him. I went to go get dinner. I forgot something, so I walked back, and then I went back to eat dinner. And I passed him like 3 or 4 times, and he spoke up, and he was like, "I'm just seeing you everywhere." And I laughed, and I said, "Yeah, I guess I'm just following you." Ooh. And I cringed. I was like, that was such a weird thing to say. Why did I say that? And I was like, you guys ever have that moment where you, somebody who you admire or that you want to impress, actually talks to you, and you get all excited, and you say something in response back, trying to make a joke, but then suddenly you realize that it wasn't funny, and it was possibly creepy. Yeah, so that happened, and he, I quickly, tried to remedy it, and because I said, I guess I'm just following you. Ooh. And then I quickly added onto it, and I was like, or you're just following me, who knows? And I, played it off as smoothly as possible. He laughed, and he said, yeah, who knows? And then went back to what he was doing, and I was like, God, why did I say that? But, it was all good. I talked to some other people, and they had moments like that, too, where one of the judges talked to them in the hallways, and they're like, yeah, and they say something back to them that sounds funnier or cooler in their head, but as soon as they say it out that loud, they're like, why did I say that? Yeah. I feel like we've all had moments like that, but I don't think Chad Broski hates me. All right, we got something in the chat. Troy, thank you for participating. Not a question, but I think you would make a great friend of a character at Disneyland, or even just a regular cast member. You are great with kids and people in general. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I have a friend who lives nearby right now, and she is. I have a few friends actually. I have 3 in the area that I know who are going to the Disney College program in Orlando, and that's the kind of things that they're going to be doing. They're going to be staff members at a Disney park. And I've had a few people tell me that I should do it too. Maybe sometime in the future. Depends on how the rest of this year goes. I think I would be okay working with Disney, but not necessarily for Disney, if that makes sense. I'm a Disney fan. I think being a friend of a character or just a cast member would be awesome. I could absolutely do it. I would love it, if I got to play Peter Pan or something in the parks. That'd be cool. Or even being one of the fursuits or whatever. Well, I guess they're not all fursuits because they're not all animal characters. But to be in one of the the costumes, or to be one of the live characters that get to talk. Either one. I feel like that's something I would enjoy. I've done things like that before. Not at Disneyland, but doing it at Disneyland would be fun. I'm hesitant on working for Disney. I don't know if that's so much what I want to do. I want to make more of a name for myself, if that makes sense. I'll work with Disney. If they want to hire me for a movie or a show, or even just a live show on a Disney cruise lines ship or something like that for my acting or my singing or whatever, I would absolutely do it, right? But working for Disney as a company is something that I don't know if I would want to commit to just that. I'll work with them, if they want me to voice act a character, or if they want me to play in one of their movies, I'd absolutely do it. But I wouldn't necessarily work for them, if that makes sense, long term. But I really do appreciate the compliment. That does mean a lot, and I've had a few people tell me that already, which gives me some inspiration. I really do appreciate it. Well, it is. I'm not getting any other questions in the chat, but I know that several people are going to be watching this live stream, after the fact, because from here on out, I'm going to, when people ask me, oh my gosh, you went to LA to become an actor? Tell us what happened. I'm going to drive myself insane if I tell each and every one of them the whole story that I just took 2 hours to tell, right? Because there's so much to tell. And there's so much that I could still tell. I could keep talking about this for quite a while, but I 10 to 12 is kind of what I was thinking about this live stream going. So from here on out, if anybody asks me what happened, oh my gosh, you went to LA, what happened there? I'll give them what I've done so far and I'll continue doing. So I'll give them a summary. I'll say oh, it was great. These were the results. I had a great time. If you want to know more about the details, then there is a video on my YouTube channel where I just talk about it. And if anybody has any questions or things about it, if they see this video, you can absolutely put questions in the comments. I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge or, the experience that I have, which is limited, but more than the average person, young adult that wants to get into acting but hasn't done anything about it yet. This is the beginning of me. I mean, I would say the beginning of my entertaining career was when I started on YouTube, and I'm still really just a startup YouTube channel. I have 700. I have above 750, and so I'm 3/4 of the way to 1,000. But my success isn't necessarily dependent on subscribers, right? I want to be doing more than just YouTube. I want to be acting and pulling gigs and going on stage. I tried stand-up comedy for the first time last month, and I did really well. And there's a lot of things that I want to do. I'm still kind of finding my niche, but I'm very happy with what I was able to do this last week in Los Angeles, and I'm excited for more. I'm going to college. At least for a summer college. I'm going to New York this summer, and I'm going to learn and grow as an actor, and hopefully that'll open more opportunities, especially after Orlando. If/when I go to that showcase, which I really want to. So yeah, if you guys ever get a chance, or you want to get into this industry too, meet people, talk to people, find out what they know, what they're willing to tell you. I'm not going to be able to tell you everything. I'm a beginner. I just experienced this for the first time. But I mean, the biggest thing about this industry is networking, getting to know people, talking to them, learning. Like if you're sitting here being oh, I'm such a great singer, such a great actor, I'm going to do so well, anybody's stupid if they don't hire me. You're not that great. There's always going to be somebody that's better than you. And even if you are the greatest person on earth, nobody's going to want to hire you if you think about yourself like that, right? If you're just you might be super talented, right? But if you're sitting here being my big break will come, I'm not going to have to do any extra work to get it because I'm just that good, right? Good luck. That's not going to happen. You have to actually, put the work into it, find ways. There's always something more that you can learn, something more that you can use to grow. And this really just applies for life in general. This isn't just the entertainment industry that we're talking about. But I wanted to say thank you to everybody who watched today. If you're still here, if you're still in the chat, go ahead and just give a quick thank you or goodbye or whatever you want to say. I like to see who's watching. I like to interact more. So thank you, Troy, for your comments. Thank you, Layla, Newish Lad, and Cooper for all coming in to the chat. Whoever else is here right now at the end, please go ahead and just, give your final words or thoughts in the chat before I sign off, because I do want to go eat lunch. For any of you who are not watching this live and you're watching this, sometime in the future, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope that you've learned something or at least been entertained with this live stream. I'll be doing more YouTube. Now that I'm done with my preparing for that showcase, I will have more time to do more things that I enjoy and to hopefully start monetizing more than $2.80 a month on YouTube, because that'd be nice. So if you wanna stay tuned and be notified whenever I have something new coming out or something new happening, please make sure that you are subscribed and you click that bell. I know this sounds really cliche to say, but it's true. That is how you support me as an artist and as a performer, and that is how you get the entertainment that you're looking for when you when you go on YouTube. So, yeah, thank you everybody so much. I love you all. I'm just like filled with gratitude for this opportunity, and I'm glad that I'm able to share it all with you. Thank you to everybody who gave me support. There were plenty of people who donated financially to help me get to LA, and that was a huge help as well. And I am going to sign off now. Thank you everybody so much. Make sure to eat your banana pancakes and keep dreaming. Dream, like my favorite, my big takeaway, one takeaway from this that I just want to leave the rest of you with: dream big, but dream smart. Okay, have a good day, everybody.